Loads of amazing performances midweek, Joe, in the Champions League, especially from young players, and it was a big day for Max Dowman. This is absolutely incredible, by the way. Youngest player in the history of the Champions League, aged just 15 years and 308 days, which is amazing. It gave us a bit of an idea, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be discussing the best Wonderkids from across the continent. We're going to build out an 11. Both of our guests have brought forward their own 11. We'll go position by position, battling it out to try and get names on the board. Will Max make it? I'm not too sure.
Any disagreement? We're going with best argument because we've got two very insightful guests.
Yeah, there's a couple of rules as well. The players have got to be 21 or under in an outfield position. We will allow 23 and under in goal because it's basically impossible to find an 18-year-old.
What are you saying?
Yeah, it's basically impossible. All right, let's start with the goalkeepers then. We'll allow 23 or under in goal. It's the only position you can do that. So who are you putting forward? Let's see both the names. Robin Ruffs and Bart Verbruggen. Dougie, who do you support again?
I'm a Sunderland fan. Yeah, but I don't think this is just bias. I think this guy's been absolutely amazing since joining Sunderland in the summer. One of the bargains of the season. I think he was around £10 million. He'd only had 1 year in the Eredivisie, but he looked really promising there. And he's just looked so composed. He's not being asked to play a very complicated game right now. It's not all about long through balls, Edison style, but in terms of claiming crosses, his save percentage is second best in the Premier League. I think only Vicario and Dean Henderson have prevented more XG. And only Arsenal have conceded fewer goals than Sunderland. Fourth best side in the league, as it stands right now.
Love it.
And we're loving it.
Yeah, third highest save ratio in the Premier League this season. He has looked very, very impressive. And another name that we know quite a bit about, Bart Verbruggen.
Yeah, well, I think, to be fair, he's probably had the more exciting start to the season than Verbruggen, but Verbruggen is the player that keeps him from being the Dutch goalkeeper. For now, yeah. And obviously at the Euros, Verbruggen started for the Netherlands. And I think it's interesting you make that point about complex. I think maybe Verbruggen might show more signs of inconsistency than Robin Ruffs, but I think he has a slightly different game that he's got to play. So he's got to be a bit more involved in Brighton's build-up play, and they've had sort of changes in the defence as well. But some of his distribution, when he sends up an accurate long pass to Mitoma, I think he's brilliant. But I think when you've got young goalkeepers, there's going to be a bit of inconsistency, isn't there? I like them both, to be honest.
Tough one, this, isn't it?
Very tough. I think if we're doing it a bit more based on this season, like maybe just fresher in my mind, I feel like Robin Ruffs has been maybe one of the best goalkeepers in the entire league.
I'd agree with that.
So I think we'll go Robin Ruffs.
Yeah, I
I'm
do
happy
agree
with
with that.
that.
I think more of Verbruggen, but this is based on this season, as you say. So let's move on to the right-back position. Now,
this is a hole, isn't it?
Say that there's not loads of young right-backs to choose from here. Nieve, let's start with you.
Yeah, even the fact I pondered over Kusanov as a right-back sort of puts it forward, who I think could really play that role well. But I've gone with Coyote because I think when you think of a Wonderkid, to have a distinctive trait that sticks out, which we all like to talk about with his long throws, that is cool. But he also creates chances in other ways too. He drives up the pitch with the ball. He's got great passing. He's physical. He's got a great awareness of the space that he defends. He looks like a real...
Yeah, you're right about that, actually. Most chances created for Brentford in the Premier League this season. Also the most successful dribbles. And without sounding like an absolute square with this stat, the longest throw distance of any Premier League player this season with 38.52 metres. Bit niche, that is a bit niche.
The right-back role, though, Dukes, because you've gone for Coyote as well, it is, in the world of the Wonderkid, European-wide this is not just a Premier League 11. Feels like a bit of a hole right now. Yeah,
it's definitely not the deepest position. I thought about Rico Lewis, but he's not really playing very much for Man City. Again, like Nieve, thought about Kusanov, but again, Mateus Nunes is playing more as Man City's right back. But this guy, before he even arrived at Brentford, was making a big scene. In 2023, they won the Under-19 Euros, Italy. He scored in the final against Portugal. He was named the Under-21 Player of the Year the following year as well. So it's a real coup for Brentford to get him, and I think it was a transfer that went under the radar at the time.
I think Alex Jimenez as well at Bournemouth started the season really well. But let's go to your centre-backs. Let's do them as a duo. Let's see who your centre-back partnership is, because there is a bit of disagreement here.
There is.
Ooh, OK.
You've gone Howson and Kabasi. You've gone Mascara and Kabasi. So let's start with Kabasi because there's an agreement. Do you think he's just the outstanding young central defender in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's 18 still.
Yeah.
And he just plays so beyond his years. And I think, actually, this season's going to be maybe his most difficult season yet with no Martinez at Barcelona anymore. But they still have to play with that high line and with that build-up play. So it's quite a risky style, but it's high risk, high reward. But it will be difficult with that alternating centre-back partnership. But I've got no doubt that he'll come good.
It's in 91 appearances for Barcelona. I think he's got 8 caps for Spain as well at the age of 18, which is ridiculous.
It's almost like it's too many, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dean Howson for you as his partner. Why not Christian Mosquera?
Well, I mean, Mosquera's played very well when he's played for Arsenal, but he's very much playing a backup role, whereas Dean Howson, because of injuries to Alaba and Rudiger at the start of this season, has been pretty much ever-present for Real Madrid. I don't think we've ever seen this before, a player going from a club the calibre of Bournemouth, no disrespect to them, but it's a tiny club in the grand scheme of things, to Real Madrid and looking as comfortable as he has done so far. He's had a couple of difficult performances, as you'd expect from a 20-year-old, against Atletico Madrid and in midweek against Liverpool. But this is a guy who switches of play, who passes through the lines, so crucial to the way Real Madrid are playing so far this season. I think to look so comfortable so quickly at Real Madrid, having only ever played 50 games in his entire career before joining them, really impressive stuff.
And it's amazing your point about we haven't seen many players go from Bournemouth to the calibre of Madrid. Well, 3 of the defenders have gone to Real Madrid, PSG and Liverpool, which goes to shows
how great their recruitment
the season that their recruitment is and how good they played last season.
Yeah, I don't think Dean Howson's done anything wrong. I think if I was to be nitpicky, I do think something that I loved about him at Bournemouth with those sort of low-driven passes that would bypass the opposition, I don't think he's hitting them with the consistent accuracy that we saw at Bournemouth. Like watching that Liverpool game, Real Madrid, he had quite a low success rate of those passes coming off, but he's doing all the right things and he does look comfortable. Whereas I feel like Mosquera looks even more assured, even more settled. Although I suppose that is maybe slightly easier because he's coming into an Arsenal
make that point,
back
yeah.
four that
I do think it's
so
easier to be a
settled.
backup at Arsenal than a starter at Real Madrid at 20.
Yeah, no,
point.
I
think that's a really strong point.
Yeah.
I think it's a good argument put forward, so we'll go with the argument basis that Dean Howson and Kabasi start.
I'm surprised you haven't
back.
mentioned who you
Lenny Yoro.
mentioned Lenny Yoro.
Lenny Yoro.
You love Lenny Yoro, don't you?
Yeah, but these guys right now I think are just a slight step ahead. Left back's an agreement?
Yes.
So we can put him up pretty quickly.
No.
Oh no, you changed
No,
it.
the last minute.
Wow.
So just to confirm, you were Lewis Skelly and you changed to Lewis Hall?
Yeah.
Very late. Why did you change?
Do you know, I think it's just because it's that exclusive left-back role. And I just think that if I was a left winger, Lewis Hall would be the total dream left-back for me. I think the way that he goes up and down, overlapping, underlapping, but especially overlapping runs, I think he doesn't shy away from anything. He presses up so high on the backs of the opposition. I think he's superb. I also think as well an underrated aspect of his game, because Newcastle is such a physical side, is his intricate footwork, taking it around a man. He doesn't seem to feel pressure because of it. And Miles Lewis-Skelly is so talented. There's nothing bad about that. But I think as an out-and-out left-back, I would go with Lewis Hall.
It's interesting. I think Lewis Hall obviously hasn't played very much at all this season due to injury. Lewis Skelly has lost his place in the starting 11 because Calafiori's come back from injury last year, which gave Lewis Skelly the opportunity to not just play but dominate an entire flank at times last year. I mean, he started and finished 3 consecutive full 90s against Real Madrid and PSG. And in that Real Madrid tie in particular, he got an assist. He kept Rodrigo so quiet that he was subbed in both matches. And yes, this year he'll probably be used a little bit more in midfield, but I just think even this season, he's played 12 games, he's got 3 assists, he got an assist against Atletico Madrid, whereas we just haven't seen that much of Lewis Hall.
But to be fair, in the Premier League, Lewis Hall's actually got more minutes than Miles Lewis-Skelly because he doesn't start games in the Premier League. And I know that Lewis Hall's been injured, but it's purely down to injury. It's not due to not starting games.
England are in a great position with both of them, to be
fair. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're both.
Who would you start?
Super
That's a good
talented.
point. For England, because obviously Lewis Skelly not in the England squad currently. Who would you start fully fit if Tuchel has both to choose from in a World Cup?
I think right now on form you're probably taking and starting Jed Spence, but in a dream scenario I think Lewis Skelly has shown more for England than Lewis Hall. He scored on his debut.
This is a tough one as well. I think I edged Miles just on the basis like Lewis's injury this season. I know you made a really good point about the amount of minutes he's played, but I think I would just edge Miles.
OK, Joe's called it.
OK.
We'll go with Lewis Skelly. So let's move into the midfield area now.
Should we do all three?
I think there's
Or is there
one
an agreement?
Should we do the one agreement first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And João Neves, was this a tap-in for you, Dougie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's just looked so comfortable ever since joining PSG, won the treble last year, ends up with 7 goals and 10 assists. He actually got 4 assists in his first 4 Ligue 1 games, which was actually breaking the record set by Neymar. And this is a player that really got his opportunity at Benfica after Enzo Fernandez went to Chelsea. And even this season, which has been really injury hit, unfortunately for him, he still scored a hat-trick against Toulouse with 2 overhead kicks. This guy is so talented, controlling the tempo, dictating play. He's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So he's up. So I think we should reveal your other 2 midfielders, because Dougie, yours are a bit rogue.
Well, they're different positions as well, aren't they,
I think
comparative to Nieve? I think
is
that's important
Desiree
to make.
Doué going to be counted in a midfield 3 here?
He's
Desiree
sort of an attacking
Doué.
10. Yeah, I mean, he is the current golden boy.
I know,
as
but
well.
he hasn't played an awful lot of football in a 10.
The thing about
PSG.
Desiree Doué that I love is you could kind of play him in 4 positions. He could play on the right, he could play on the left, he could play as a false 9, he could play as a 10. I was kind of imagining Arda Güler playing behind Desiree Doué. And he has played very effectively in a midfield 3 this season, Arda Güler, kind of replacing the impact of Luka Modric. Desiree Doué, I think it's worth pointing out in the Golden Boy, you can't win it twice, so it probably should be Lamine Yamal. But still, last year finishes, 16 goals, 16 assists, wins the treble, scores a brace and gets an assist in the Champions League final. It's amazing stuff. And then Arda Güler, given the fact he missed the first 6 months of his Real Madrid career with injury, to come in and look so comfortable this year, replacing a player of the calibre of Luka Modric, I think they're both amazing.
Yeah, started 13 of 15 in all competitions, actually. That's a good point with Güler.
You've gone for a different positional vibe.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think you've gone down a real talented route of players.
Yeah.
Maybe I've gone down trying to build a midfield that I think could balance each other out and blend nicely. I think it's sneaky with Desiree Doué.
I think it's sneaky. He's definitely worthy of the 11
it is.
the position.
I think even when he looks like on paper he's playing in midfield, he's still high up the pitch as well against Leverkusen. It was Mayulu dropped deep a little bit more than him. You want him to be further up, I think. So I've gone with these guys, and I've gone with Pavlovic because I just think it balance out this midfield. I think Pavlovic, because a lot of his qualities are things that I don't think we respect enough in midfielders, it maybe goes under the radar, and you really see it when he doesn't play and Goretzka plays instead. The lack of fluidity in Bayern, and I think a big part of Bayern's game is free-flowing, quick football, and on and off the ball, they just move around. Even Kane will drop deep, won't he, to collect the ball. So Pavlovic will sort of instinctively go beyond him, and he'll sort of be vertically in front of him, and he's got to time that movement really well and then come back when Kane goes beyond him. When he gets the ball, I think he moves it very quickly. He doesn't mess around. He's never going to dawdle onto that ball. And I just think he does everything really well. I've seen him cover for Stanisic on the left a few times this season, off the ball. He just does all the things that maybe, unless you focus on him, you might not notice, but it just helps the flow of one of the best teams in Europe right now.
And Nico Paz, know all about him because he was heavily linked with Spurs. We've seen all his goals. And then he said he didn't want to join, so
Yeah, I mean, do you think Nico Paz is just going to head back to Madrid once at the end of the season? It's sort of like a done deal that's going to happen.
They've got that buyback clause.
They've got the buyback, but then you've got Arda Güler, who is operating in a similar sort of area, and you've got Bellingham, who wants to operate in that area. It's a very difficult pen space at Madrid.
A lot of congregation.
Agreed. What's best for him? Do you think he's better staying for a few years where he is, where he's getting game time and playing at the level he is, than going back too early?
Maybe, because that area of the pitch, there's an awful lot.
A lot of competition.
And also, I think as well, if you're a creative footballer, until Real Madrid figure out a front three where the players are going to get into the box a little bit more, it's maybe not even worth being so creative. Arda Güler is a great example of that. He's such a creative footballer, but you see him play a little bit deeper at times. And also when you see him a bit further up the pitch, it's like, who's he actually going to pass to? Because they all sort of come to feet and they don't want to make the runs.
We need a decision here. Now, it feels to me we have to have Doué in this side, but where we put...
Could he be in the front three?
Because I think he might be coming later in
I
the
think
team.
maybe you could go with a Doué and then sort of allow that to happen.
Should we see how should we see how the 11 develops, but put Doué in?
Is Güler not going to be in the team?
Well, I don't know.
You're pushing...
You've got to decide. Do we want Pavlovic in to kind of balance it?
You're pushing Pavlovic with Doué for the balance, Nieve. Is that what you're...
I think maybe like a Jean Neves, Doué and Arda Güler midfield feels like it could be a bit too sort of diminutive and not...
Yeah.
Dougie's happy to concede by the look.
I do like Pavlovic a lot. I do think Arda Güler's been really exceptional at the start of the season as well, but I take your point about balance. But in this side, try and get the ball off them.
To be fair, Arda Güler as well, I've been impressed by his bite and awareness of danger defensively. I do think that is an underrated aspect.
Okay, we're going to make a decision.
We're sort of fighting for each other's. I'm fighting for yours to go.
Why don't we
Nieve,
we got in a lot of my defenders. Why don't we put Pavlovic in alongside João Neves behind?
We could always put Doué in a forward area.
We could do, but we've
wing.
got, maybe
left wing.
We'll come back to it.
He's played a lot of football at left wing.
One thing we can say is this can be amended at the end. This isn't if you want to move it back at the end as we go down. I mean, let's go to the right wing, which I'm guessing you've got the same player.
Yeah, a little bit concerning though. He's supposedly dealing with a chronic groin injury at the moment, which is a little bit worrying. He's already played close to 150 games for Spain and Barcelona, or 18.
Ridiculous.
But even this season, he's played I think 6 La Liga games. He started, and there's only 2 players players that have completed more dribbles in the entirety of Europe. You saw even in the week, that goal against Club Brugge. He's not even at 100% of his fitness. Barcelona are way off it by their own usual standards, and he's still dictating, dominating games. Phenomenal.
Yeah, 5 goals, 5 assists, is it in 10 in all comps?
So stick him up. Shout out to Esteval as well, by the way, and Mastantuono.
I feel like we should have a quick chat about it. Obviously, I think everyone would pick Lamine Yamal in this position. But in terms of the ceiling, we're looking at Wonderkids, we're looking at players under the age profile. The impact that Esteval's had very early on for Chelsea has been pretty incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, such a talent.
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep watching him.
OK, so left wing, there is an agreement, but could this also be a place that Dougie fits to allow Gula into the team? Or we have to get Kenan Yildiz into the team? I
really like the journey that Kenan Yildiz is on at the moment, and it's kind of a little bit against myself, because I actually thought that players like Jamie Gittins and Malik Fofana were kind of ahead of him, but this season Kenan Yildiz has clearly emerged as the best, like out-and-out left wing, I would say, of this age group. Really taking on so much responsibility now. He's captained Juve. He's worn the armband at various points as well. And actually, he's a Bayern youth product as well. Barcelona wanted him. He chose to go to Juve. Juve have been a bit of a mess. They've already changed managers so far this season, but Yildiz can't be criticised for his performances.
No, for sure. I actually think it's getting a bit too much now, their reliance on him. In that game when Juventus played Real Madrid was a really good example. It was almost like, you're our one, please could you go and do it for us? And I think they're almost giving him too much to do because of how good he is. And something to be said about the way he gets the most out of players around him as well. Like, I think he really helped revitalise a bit of something out of Vlahovic, for example. And to have harbour that at a young age, he's incredible.
OK, so Yildiz is an agreement. He has to go up.
Yeah.
What about the striker role? Could this be a Dougie false nine situation?
I'm not happy where he is, are you?
I like that.
I just think that, you know, Gula this season.
Yeah.
We've got Eli Junior Krupi, who is on fire for Bournemouth, and Piero Esposito.
Yeah, no, and I think as you say that, though, to be fair, the idea of putting Dougie there and squeezing Arda Güler in, I rate that. But I would like to talk about Esposito because I think he is super talented, but he's very raw. But a signature thing I like about him is I like the fact that he'll sort of drop a little bit deeper with his back towards the defender. He's pretty strong and he moves the ball, sort of switches it side to side really well, and I really like the way he sort of complements Lautaro Martinez. But as you say, in terms of a more polished product, I think it would be silly to put him in over.
Dukes, I like the fact you're bringing him to the table because he's, bearing in mind this is based on this season, he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's very early days, and obviously I don't think people were expecting this much from him so quickly, but Evan Nilsson's had some injury issues, but already he's scored some big goals. I think it's 4 now in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's probably overperforming in terms of the amount of shots he's taking and the kind of quality of goals he's scoring, but this is a guy that stayed with Lorient after they were relegated to Ligue 2 last season, scored over 20 goals in Ligue 2. People were talking about it, and it was French journalists, not me, that this was the kind of Mbappe-esque sort of next player coming through. He's ended up at Bournemouth, who have a link with Lorient as well, and it just feels like a really exciting player that's not afraid at all in the Premier League. So, yeah, he'd be my choice at striker.
So what are we doing?
OK.
I really like I don't know how you feel about it.
Dougie false nine. Dougie false nine.
Because he's comfortable in the middle.
Yeah, Dougie
If we're
can
talking
play
about
false
Wonderkids
nine.
as well, I think we should give a shout out to Lennart Carl, 17, obviously scored on his Champions League debut. Looks a very talented young product.
And do you know what as well? That pushes Gula up further where he is even better than sort of that deeper role.
Well, there we go.
Dougie in that false nine, we've seen him operating
like that,
there.
don't you?
Yeah.
Well, there we have it. There is confirmation of Nieve and Dougie's Wonderkids 11 across Europe. Let us know what you think of those selections at home.